There's not exactly a shortage of games out there that allow you to point bullets at targets wearing camo, and while Spec Ops: The Line certainly resembles a dozen other shooters in the market, it takes a much bigger, much bolder approach to a story-driven experience. What's different? Well, for starters, the plot doesn't involve a world-ending nuke or global espionage. This tale is obviously inspired by Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness, and it follows a three-man Delta squad led by Nolan North-voiced Walker as they descend into Dubai to locate an MIA general.
The man's a fucking hero. Instead of coming home, he volunteered his entire battalion to help with the evac. Rumor is Conrad was ordered to abandon the city. He defied that order, and the 33rd stood with him.
The general was sent in to aid in the evacuation after this billionaire playground was swallowed by sandstorms. It is a brilliant location, and it's one that sets it apart from other games. Sand is important to Spec Ops: The Line, both in terms of story and gameplay. That said, using it as some elemental extension to your squad doesn't quite live up to the much-hyped expectations. It's almost always employed as a gameplay equivalent to an exploding barrel. It's something you can dispose of a large radius of enemies with a single shot.
Enemy down!
Truth be told, the rest of Spec Ops: The Line's gameplay specifically doesn't do all that much to break the mold either. The controls don't feel all that tight, and you've seen better cover systems and AI before. However, its darker than dark atmosphere and fantastically compelling plot are above and beyond anything you've ever seen before. Delta Squad's enemies aren't your typical randomly generated terrorists. They're primarily your fellow American soldiers. When you hear them cry out in pain and beg for their lives, it's in a language you instantly and jarringly understand.
Why?
Which makes for a military shooter that's far less hoorah and far more, oh god. Spec Ops: The Line mostly avoids bromantic, high-five camaraderie cliches found in other shooters, and instead forces you to watch your squad mentally unravel over the atrocities they are forced to commit in the name of their patriotic duties.
He wouldn't listen! He turned us into fucking killers!
It's not so much about questioning the morality of what you're doing, as it's an alarmingly unique and mature way of making you feel every kill with all the emotionally disturbing detail a soldier in the trenches would experience. It can be deeply unsettling at times.
Colonel,
I
please.
don't know if I told you that.
What's going on here?
Survival, Captain. Plain and simple.
But that's what makes it a strident step forward in the interactive medium. It stimulates emotions in the player beyond that of excitement and accomplishment. No small feat. It's an incredibly gutsy decision to attempt to make players actually feel the repercussions of their actions, and the game's deeply committed to the narrative. Because of that, the developer opted not to dilute Delta Squad's story with co-op, and instead focused on a separate competitive multiplayer mode. It's fun with friends, and the few different modes and occasional sandstorms keep it feeling fairly unique, although we don't expect it to have the same longevity of a Call of Duty or a Battlefield. The gameplay may not innovate all that much, but no other shooter has gone as deep down the depressing rabbit hole as Spec Ops. It's a psychological game that truly surprised us, following through with its premise so completely we can't help but recommend it wholeheartedly.
Jesus, shoot it! Shoot it!